short is this. The IPC then Review Committee said that humanitarian organizations need to be prepared to quickly scale up their humanitarian efforts if access to Gaza improves. And the World Food Program has been calling upon Israel to open up more access points, because they said back in March they needed 300 trucks a day, every day, to cross into Gaza to meet the food requirements. So what needs to happen going forward, as soon as the fighting ceases in Rafah, they need to open up all the access points and pour humanitarian assistance in there. So it's not just food they need, Andrew. They need fuel. So UNICEF is already on the ground. UNICEF has been providing fuel for desalination plants, fuel to run water pumps for wells. They have given, I think, something like 186,000 liters of fuel, and this benefited 1.6 million people in Gaza, half of whom were children in recent weeks, just to get them fresh water. Another big problem is sanitation. So they don't have fuel to run the sanitation plant. So UNICEF recently gave fuel to run the sanitation plant in Rafah, so that you wouldn't have disease outbreaks such as cholera. But we are seeing all kinds of problems regarding hygiene and sanitation. So UNICEF is bringing in hygiene kits, and this is particularly important for women, pregnant women and girls, who are much more likely to get urinary tract infections. So work is being done, but with the fighting going on, obviously the access to those areas is very poor, and so that means that the civilian population, half of whom are children, always suffer.
And you've kind of outlined, a pretty dire situation that they are facing there. And we have seen, Israel has reoccupied the Rafah crossing over the course of the past week, which has been a key humanitarian corridor. I can imagine that makes it even tougher to get this needed aid into where it needs to go.
Yes. Now, the good news is, you recall back in the State of the Union address, U.S. President Joe Biden promised to establish a marine corridor and set up a temporary pier. And so this just past week, U.S. forces made good on that promise. They established a temporary pier. Humanitarian aid trucks are now driving off this pier into Gaza. No American troops are setting foot into Gaza. And on Thursday, Ahmed Hussein, Canada's International Development Minister, announced that Canada was contributing an extra $65 million, bringing up the Canadian contribution to $165 million in humanitarian assistance for Gaza. And some of that money is going to helping with this international maritime corridor to bring international aid into Gaza to help the civilian population. So I expect that in the coming days, we're going to see a ramp up of supplies going in. But of course, the offensive in Rafah could very well complicate that. So we'll see what happens there.
In the message that I've heard from other aid groups in your piece, as well as from your piece itself, it sounds like it doesn't matter who is right and wrong here. This aid just needs to go where it needs to go. That is the focus right now, not on the politics or what have you.
Yes, and the point I end on is that when the offensive is completed, when the end game has been completed, when the war is over, the humanitarian situation will not miraculously improve. It will take a concerted international effort to help the children of Gaza.
Here's one of the unfortunate fallouts, the consistent fallouts of war. We'll continue to watch what happens there. Jeffrey, thanks so much for bringing us up to date. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Andrew.
Jeffrey Johnston is the International Affairs columnist at the Kingston Week Standard. This week he is writing about the humanitarian situation facing Gaza, those living in Gaza, and particularly children living in Gaza as well. It's 9:46 here. Beautiful sunshine in downtown Ottawa coming up to the top of the hour. We'll get to some texts coming up after the break here. Also, coming up to the 10 o'clock hour, we'll talk about proposed program reviews at the OCDSB, the largest school board here in Ottawa, looking to review some programming, possibly removing English-only programming from said roster. We'll talk about that with the head of education coming up at the top of the hour as well. Lots still to get to. We got about an hour and a little bit left here on CFRA Live on a beautiful Victoria Day long weekend. Don't go away.
Buckle up, Ontario. I'm Owen Rigling, and I'm coming to a small town near you with the Buckle Up Tour. We're hitting Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Enbridge, Brantford, Chatham, and my hometown, Mildmay. So get ready, Ontario. This country music's coming home.
The Buckle Up Tour, presented by Bud Light and powered by Live Nation Canada, featuring Owen Rigling. For free tickets, visit buckleuptour.ca. Tickets subject to availability. Enjoy responsibly. Must be legal drinking age.
Make your personal day truly personal. No meetings, emails, or errands. Drift in the serene Kala pool. Savor a gourmet lunch and unwind fireside. Escape the everyday. Take good care. Embrace May's sunny weather with a one-day Spa Village getaway. Discover a world of restorative rituals at Nordique Spa Nature. Prioritize your well-being. Visit lenordique.com to book your getaway.
The news when you want it.
Your latest local news, weather, and traffic now on the CTV News app.
Or iHeartRadio app. News Talk 580 CFRA.
Live local breaking news, weather, and traffic.